This is Defiance Daily. I am your host, Miles Taylor. We have a special episode today, friends. We got a special episode because we are in the midst of planning what is the largest rebuttal that I'm aware of to a president's State of the Union address in American history. That is going to happen tomorrow in Washington, D.C., live from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern. But there's a lot more that's going to be happening. That's what we're going to talk about today. This is your exclusive preview of an event we're calling State of the Swamp, the rebuttal to the State of the Union. Now, we have a special guest with us today. We actually have two special guests with us today. I'm going to go to them in a little bit here, in a couple of minutes, and talk to them about how this all came about. And I don't just mean this event. I mean, why are we talking about frogs? Why do you have this little frog down in the corner of your screen? Why is the theme of this crazy historic rebuttal event frogs? We're going to talk about that. We're going to give you an answer why. But let me start off with the lead-in. And the lead-in is this. We decided to call this rebuttal event in Washington, D.C., the State of the Swamp for a very important reason, which is that when Donald Trump first came to office in early 2017, he said he was coming to Washington, D.C. to, quote, drain the swamp. What did Donald Trump mean by that? I'm asking that question seriously. I want you to reflect on that. What do you think he meant by the swamp? When I joined that administration in early 2017, I perceived that Donald Trump was saying he wanted to get rid of grift in Washington, D.C. He wanted to get rid of corruption. He wanted to responsibly slim down the government. Now, I didn't think he was going to do all of those things, but I thought that's what he meant by drain the swamp, is a less corrupt, less grifty, less powerful executive. Instead, Donald Trump, especially into his second term in office, has not only failed to drain the swamp in Washington, he has turned the entire nation of the United States of America into a swamp. He has taken advantage of the taxpayers. He has attempted to expropriate your money from your government for his personal private benefit. He has engaged in crony capitalism to help his friends take over organizations that they want to take over media networks that he wants to effectively become state-run media. He's allowed friends and family to engage in naked acts of corruption to enrich themselves and to help their allies, all using your taxpayer dollars and resources. But perhaps most significantly of all, he hasn't shrunk the size of the federal government or its involvement in your life. He has built the most intrusive, autocratic, corrupt government we have ever seen in American history, that is trying to be in your life every day, that is trying to tell you what types of products you can buy at the stores, how much those products should cost through tariffs and taxes, who should run those companies through threats and intimidation and regulatory hurdles, what you read in the news, and what you can do in your cities and states, sending federal officers in to where you live to tell you how to live. I will tell you, as a lifelong conservative, that ain't small government. So Donald Trump has turned America into a swamp. That's why we don't think it's appropriate to call this a rebuttal to the State of the Union. This event is called the State of the Swamp. And who better to guide us through the swamp than a group of frogs, a group of very courageous, very brave, very outspoken frogs. Now, I'll tell you, if you've had your head buried in the swamp for the past few months, you may have missed one of the most powerful acts of defiance we have seen since the return of Trump, which is that last year, as Donald Trump was saying in Portland, Oregon, there were terrorists and insurrectionists trying to storm an ICE facility. A group of people showed up at that facility dressed in frog costumes, inflatable frog costumes, with EDM music, boomboxes, and a good time. And never in modern American history, or perhaps at all, have you seen a more obvious "the emperor has no clothes" moment than that. Since then, you have seen these frogs at No King's protests, at spontaneous celebrations and marches around America. And tomorrow, you will see them invade Washington, D.C., like Donald Trump has invaded cities and states around the country, except they will be nonviolent, but they will also be defiant. We are very proud tomorrow to welcome into Washington, D.C., the Portland Frog Brigade, which will help helm the State of the Swamp event. Those are our special guests today, and we'll go to them in just a moment. But first, I will say there have been updates to the lineup for the State of the Swamp event. Go to the web address you see down there at the bottom of the screen and check out the latest. Robert De Niro, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, Stacey Abrams, Mark Ruffalo, members of Congress, senators, representatives, cultural figures, pro-democracy figures, former Trump officials, you name it. This is going to be the loudest rebuttal to a president ever. We will speak before Donald Trump speaks. We will speak while Donald Trump speaks. We will speak after he speaks. Because the man who has been trying to torch the First Amendment and take away our free speech rights needs to know that he has failed. That is what will happen at this event tomorrow. But that's not all. Other things will happen. Before we talk about that, I want to bring in my Defiance.org co-founder, Xander Schultz. Xander.
Live from a tiny hotel room somewhere in D.C. I love your background. Where are you?
Live from a bigger and better hotel room in Washington, D.C. Sorry that you got the cheap seats, man. Someone let me borrow a really cool spot.
I didn't want to be more than a stone's throw away from the Froggies. They said they were staying here. So I was like, all right, that's where I'm booking.
Well, and that's who we have with us today. I am thrilled to welcome into the conversation Ribbit Wrangler and Slurmit the Frog.
No.
Gentlemen, welcome to the conversation. Your screen is a little blurry, Ribbit and Slurmit. I don't know if you've got blur on. There we go. You might need to change the setting, but I don't expect frogs know how to operate a computer.
It's hard.
How are you doing today? How was your trip from Portland to the nation's capital?
It was wonderful. We swam the whole way. It was a little bit far to swim. Our arms got a little bit damaged.
Well, good. We're glad that you made it. I want you guys to take us back in time first. Before we talk about this event, before we talk about what's going to happen tomorrow, tell us about the genesis of the frogs. Tell us about those early days. Tell us where the frog was born.
You want to tell me?
I got it. Yeah, so it all started off with one frog in Portland. You may have seen him on the news. He got sprayed in this frog hole by an ICE agent, and got sprayed with some pepper spray. And that's what got us off the couch. That was exactly the time that Trump was saying that Portland was on fire and Portland was a war zone. And so between this person in an inflatable getting sprayed in the frog hole and Trump calling us a war zone, we had to get off the couch and do something about it, right? And what better way than dressing up in a bunch of frog suits?
Yep.
No one likes to get sprayed in the frog hole. That sounds terrible.
No one.
And reality, that first frog the first frog doesn't start the movement, right? It's the second frog that starts the movement. So the first person that does something ambitious and crazy like that and weird is just a nutter until someone validates them by coming along and supporting them. So Slurmit here was the second frog, and I saw what he was doing out there. And I was like, you know what? I think we can make this be really important, have much more impact beyond Portland as a symbol of peaceful creative resistance and dissent. And I said, do you want to make this a thing? And he said, yeah, let's make it a thing. So We're continuing to build the Portland Frog Brigade, and at the same time, building our infrastructure so we can support more brigades around the country.
I love that. I love that, guys. I'll tell folks who are watching, and I've gotten asked a lot today by folks across national and local media, what was the genesis of this rebuttal event? And I said, a co-founder here, Xander, got us connected with the Portland Frog Brigade. And we had a conversation, and something was said in that conversation that was like a switch flip in my brain, which was when Ribbit Wrangler said to me, the best way to highlight the insanity is through absurdity. I want you guys to tell me a little bit about that. What does that mean, and what kind of legacy does that concept have in fighting back against autocracy?
What we're seeing is a completely insane moment. I think we all know that. And there really is no rational response to something this crazy that's not absurdity, because it just reflects, the reality of what we're facing here. Just how insane this whole thing is. And when we do that, when we're meeting that moment with whimsy and weirdness and creativity and joy and fun, fascists don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with comedy. They don't know what to do with irony, right? And so it's a great way to break through the noise and to tell say the lie to the narrative that this is, that we're domestic terrorists and that we're living in a war zone and all that, and that we're, and showing that we're really here for peaceful resistance.
Oh, Xander, you're muted. Never fails.
I wonder, guys, what's let's fast forward. We're doing our second State of the Union with you guys. It's a year from now.
Yeah.
What's the vision? What's the froggy vision for the country?
Yeah, our vision is to have as many frogs out in the streets as possible. The more people that are using this as a symbol for peaceful resistance, the better, because it's a very effective and important tactic for broadening the coalition to more people who want to get into resistance, but don't want to have a pepper ball shot at their face. This is a much more fun way to do it. So we're looking to have brigades across the country in cities where they're needed, as they're needed. So when Trump went after the Somalis in Minnesota, we saw that as an imminent threat. So we called up our friends in Minnesota and we spun up a brigade there as quickly as we could. We sent them suits, we sent them a How to Frog kit, we trained them up on Zoom and got them running. And now they have 20 frogs out there called the Minnesota Frog Brigade, and they have their own logo that's based on our logo. And they're doing their own creative resistance, and they're taking it on their own. So that's the model right there, is to have more cities like Minneapolis standing up to ICE's incursions as they come, and ideally before they show up, right? So the community is ready before they get hit, get smacked in the face. The next cities that we're looking at right now are Phoenix and New Orleans, because those are the ones that are next on the line. And then we're just going to keep try and keep one step ahead of ICE, and wherever we can, spin up frog brigades.
Beautiful. I like the layers of anonymity here, Miles. It's like there's the frog suits, and then it's blurred out.
And there's a little blur.
I really don't know why it's blurry. It looks good on our thing. So
no, you guys are good. So I want to ask you all about. I want to ask you about this event, and Xander and I will talk a little bit about it when you all jump. You see what I did there? Frog puns all day. Tell me about this event tomorrow, because it doesn't just start with a live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern, which folks should tune into. They should go to defiance.org. They can watch it anywhere. They can find links to YouTube and Substack and all the different places if they go there tomorrow. But something really special is happening tomorrow morning. So Ribbit and Slurmit, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, change comes from the top. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top. We're going to the Capitol tomorrow, and we're going to find every representative we can, and we're going to hand them a pocket constitution. And we're going to say, hey, you, remember your oath? The Constitution, not to some king, some dictator, some wannabe. This little document right here. This is what it's all about. It's what this country's about. And it's coming straight from the frogs, and that's what we're doing. And we're going to, peacefully, of course, go to the Capitol and hand out these constitutions.
These people need to
Slurm,
remember.
it sure sounded to me at the start of that like it sounded a lot like the menacing tone we heard from those insurrectionists. We're going to go to the Capitol and we're going to find every member of Congress and we're going to hand them a constitution.
Right. Imagine if they tried that on January 6th. It would have been a different day, that's for sure.
It would have been a totally different day. It would have been kind of a great day. I would agree with them that we should celebrate those people if that's what they had done on that day. This is very exciting, and I do want to say to anyone who's tuned in right now, you've got a chance to watch this tomorrow. In fact, Xander and I are going to host a live stream here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, somewhere thereabouts. We're going to watch the frogs inflate and take to the halls of Congress. We're going to see how long we can stick with them and follow those deliveries, but you get to watch a historic moment here. If you ever wondered when will inflatable frogs enter the citadel of democracy and hand deliver constitutions, you don't have to wonder anymore. It's tomorrow morning.
And that's been a question on everybody's mind. We know
Everyone's wondering
since the founding of this country, really.
Yeah,
It's kind of like people who are waiting for a second coming. It's when will the frogs arrive to save the republic? It's happening tomorrow.
We are the plague of frogs, man. We're here to, we're the bellwether for all this. I'm telling you.
As prophesized in the Jefferson Bible that Thomas Jefferson edited, the last portion of it, he said, and the frogs will migrate into the Capitol and save the Constitution, hoisted up on their little legs. That's what I read. I don't know about you,
You know what's
Xander.
funny? I was chatting last night with a friend. I was like, yeah, we're doing frogs. And he hasn't been following the whole thing. He's like, oh, because of Aristotle. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And then he's like, it's perfect because of Aristotle. So I looked it up. Let me make sure I read it so I don't get the facts wrong. Aristotle wrote that frogs were unique among animals in that they spontaneously generated from mud and decay, particularly the slime left after Nile floods, making them the only creatures the Greeks believed were literally born from filth, which became a metaphor for something vital and alive rising from the most degraded, corrupt conditions imaginable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it is kind of perfect if that's like your metaphor. I'd never heard of it, but it sounds great.
This event has been planned since antiquity. It's been planned since Aristotle.
Absolutely.
We're finally going to see it through. I want to ask you, gents, because those deliveries will happen tomorrow, and we'll also see frogs all over the nation's capital. Am I right?
Yes. We're gonna be running around in the mall, hitting as many of the tourist attractions and that we can, and take pictures of frogs out there. It's gonna be super fun. I anticipate we're gonna meet a lot of people out in the mall. Average citizens. Everyone loves to get their pictures with the frogs and hang out with us, because you know what? We provide that one little sliver of hope that people really need. And you see when you're in this suit and you see people and how they react to you, you realize just how hungry people are to have a little, even the remotest bit of hope. So we're really happy to be able to bring that to people as well.
Well, and then tomorrow, for the actual main event, for the State of the Swamp event, we have a frog pond set up. And while we have speakers of national significance, targets of Trump's revenge and ire, just off to the side of the stage, you will have hopping, cheering, sign-waving frogs. And what are you hoping, Ribbit and Slurmit, that the American people will take away from that?
Well, I'm hoping they'll take away from it solidarity. Frogs together strong is our motto. And the frog is a symbol that everyone can get behind. So hopefully they see us out there. They see a little frog in themselves. And even if they don't put a frog suit on, hopefully they know that we got their back.
Well, there's a frog inside of all of us. Xander, I want to ask you, and I'm sure
goes.
as the saying goes, there's a frog inside of all of us. Xander, there's also going to be a slew of announcements tomorrow about concrete actions that are going to be taken to counter the abuses of power we are seeing. I want to get your thoughts on that for a second, but then ask Ribbit and Slurmit what their one call to action would be for Americans who watch State of the Swamp.
Right.
I would say just do something, right? Yep. I mean, it's easy to sit on your couch and say, oh, the world's so bad, this country's going to shit. But just get out and do something, whether it's put on a frog suit, whether it's stand on the front line at ICE, whether it's donating some money to a good cause, or maybe it's just calling your senator. Just do something.
Yep. Even one action counts. It all matters. And if you pick something that's affiliated with you, that meets your affinities and what you're into anyway, all of those things can be parlayed into the resistance, and every little piece counts. So do something.
Xander, what say ye? Are these guys out of their minds?
No, I feel like we've met somewhat like our organizational cousins in some way. I think we're trying to do the same thing, which is create an easier, happier, more joyful on-ramp into resistance, that you don't have to go straight to black bloc confrontation of armed ICE agents to be a part of this movement. And you don't have to kind of wander in the dark and just search on Google in terms of what you can do. And be worried you're doing it by yourself or you're not part of a movement that's getting things done. So I think in so many ways we're trying to do the same thing. One thing I really appreciate about these guys too is they are adamantly highlighting other organizations and other efforts around the country. Like their whole superpower in some ways is the ability to get attention wherever they go. And I think they've, in a really admirable way, said, great, we're not going to use that just for us and our movement. We're going to move wherever we need to move, including this rebuttal to the State of the Union, to make sure the leaders like the ones we're highlighting tomorrow are heard by as many people as possible and get as many eyeballs as possible. And Miles, it just rhymes with a lot of kind of why we started what we started, and the generosity in which Defiance is able to move with our members.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right, my friend. Well, Kermit and Ribbit, a final question for you, which is this. Do all Americans have an invitation to join the Frogs? And if so, where can they find you?
Go for it.
Yeah, like Ribbit Wrangler said, we hope there's frogs everywhere that they're needed. And you can learn how to be a frog, and you can join us at www.portlandfrogbrigade.com.
Yep, and everything's up there in terms of like how to teach you how to frog yourself and how to set up a brigade yourself and how to run it, and how to use frogs, right? Frogs are a very special weapon. We bring positive attention to things. We bring joy. We bring de-escalation, and each different situations ask for a different frog skill. And so we help people understand how to use the frogs as well. So everything you need is up at portlandfrogbrigade.com to get yourself started. And you don't have to be the part of the frog brigade in order to be able to frog. Anybody can anywhere. It's all good. Go do it. And some people ask us, is it okay if I use a different animal? Different people have different animal affinities. That's cool. So we say, go for it. Whatever creativity you want to bring to the table that brings absurdity to this insanity fight, we're all for it.
Ribbit Wrangler and Slurmit the Frog, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us tomorrow. We will be with you at 9:30 a.m. Eastern for one of the most monumental actions America has ever seen, the world has ever seen, something apparently Aristotle has forecast for 2,000 years, something Thomas Jefferson wrote about in the Jefferson Bible. It happens tomorrow on Capitol Hill. We can't wait to see you.
We're very excited to be here and be a part of this. So it's super awesome to be doing this with you guys too. Love you guys.
Thank you, friends.
Godspeed. I thought that was
Xander.
your send-off. That was such a good line. I was like, is that the episode?
Oh, that's it. That's the episode. I love these guys. I love them so much. I will just say to folks, if they're watching us right now, stop watching me and Xander. Go to the web address at the bottom of your screen and scroll down to the videos at the very bottom. You can skip everything. Hell, if you don't even tune in tomorrow, I want you to watch the 2 videos produced by the Portland Frog Brigade so you can get the vibe of these folks and how they are engaging in defiance in this country. It's different, right? We're not going to win this thing with Time Magazine op-eds. We're not going to win this thing with Washington Post stories. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you, that's not how we're going to win. We're going to win with peaceful and joyful and nonviolent defiance that is infectious. And what these guys are doing is infectious.
Totally. It is like, honestly, we keep doing historical references. It is the turn the other cheek thing. It's meeting someone that is trying to inflict violence on you and dancing in front of them and saying, I'm not going to let that impact me. I'm not going to hurt you back. And I mean, these guys are also great. And you're welcome to our dance party if you decide to, if you decide to change your mind. Which is so wonderful. And honestly, there's so many historical analogies of the importance of getting like repressive forces to know that they are welcome to lay down their arms and be part of the resistance and see themselves as one of us as they are, and not aligned with billionaires and presidents that are hoovering up billions of dollars for their own corrupt reasons.
I do have to say, my friend, is like as a conservative and coming up a conservative, I always disdained the portrait painted by the left that the way the GOP was headed, it was going to end up in a kleptocracy, and you would have these oligarchs, and wealth would be in the hands of a few, and it would be corrupt. To me, it was like a dystopian character, and I was like, give me a break. That's not what happens. Okay, well then Donald Trump took over the party, and that character is it's our life now. It is our life that the people with capital have a fast pass to the future, and we are all being put back. And that's really scary. And I think that these guys have harnessed a real grassroots way to defy that culture, and one that is just, like I said, it's infectious. It's infectious, and you don't have to be explained why does this need to happen. And you've said it so well, Xander, that when you're in an argument and someone tells a really good joke and everyone laughs at you, you're totally disarmed. It's like you have no rejoinder. If you can't come up with a better joke, you're toast. And that's what these guys have done to Donald Trump, is they've made him look like such a fool. They have shown that the emperor is striding down the street buck naked, and he doesn't even realize that. And I just think it's remarkable. That's why we teamed up with these guys for this event tomorrow.
Totally, man. When you go back, kind of retrace the steps of Donald Trump's ascension, the Republican Party, the acceleration of the in-your-face corruption has been so incredible this last, we'll call it 6 weeks, even between the Board of Peace having a $10 billion slush fund that Donald Trump transferred our taxpayer money into private Donald Trump, the citizen account somewhere that he's supposedly going to do stuff for Gaza around, the suing the IRS for $10 billion. Like, these are big chunks. $10 billion at a time. The 5,000 person detention center we talked about in El Paso that was constructed and operated for $1.2 billion. I don't have back of the napkin math on what that is per head, but it's too much. And that money's going somewhere. The acceleration of the naked corruption has been absolutely incredible. And I think it's like a massive misplay of their hand, because people are already on them about the Epstein files, of which I don't think we've previewed what we're doing around the meeting room over there. Probably. You want to talk a little bit about it? I mean, it's really fun.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? We should, because people who watch online tomorrow won't get a chance to see this. Now, maybe we won't spoil the announcement that gets made. Maybe we'll just talk about one of the things that's going to be there. If you are in person at the State of the Swamp event tomorrow, you're going to get to see something really cool. But if you're not, then we're going to tell you about it now. When you arrive at this event, there is going to be a special room, and it's going to be a reading room, and it's going to be named in honor of our president and one of his former best friends. It will be the Donald J. Trump Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Reading Room, and attendees will have the opportunity to sit and read the Epstein files in this special pop-up library. Mm-hmm. And there is going to be a much bigger announcement during our event about what will happen with this activation and where it will go. And we're really excited about that. I think that's going to make some waves tomorrow, Xander.
I just did the walkthrough with the team like an hour ago. Part of the reason I was late showing up to this was getting done with the walkthrough. I do think, it's so awesome being teamed up with these guys, the folks doing the reading room. That joy and excitement, it's going to feel different than I think anything that folks in DC have been to, specifically like political events for sure. And they're coming into music, a couple really fun experiences, and we're doing it without losing the plot, and getting too goofy, that we're not talking about holding these guys accountable. We're convening the most serious people in the country, the people who have been the most defiant in the face of authoritarianism across grassroots organizing, local governance, journalism, et cetera. And so it's just great to bring that energy into this fight, because I was talking to my Uber driver on the way over. It's year 11. We started on this journey in 2015. And so the grit your teeth and pound your chest energy is not going to sustain us. We're in year 1 of 3 here. Maybe if we win the midterms, we can change that timetable. But we're in for a long haul here.
Maybe three. Maybe for
Maybe three.
three. I mean, I don't even
Yes,
say
good
that
point. There's
jokingly. This
four more
guy,
year chance going on.
yeah. I mean, this guy may try to stay longer than that. And that's scary. That's one of the reasons we got to be doing this. So a couple things I'll share. And I was going to try to put the latest lineup up from our friends at Task Force. I don't know if you're able to do that, Xander. As folks who've been watching the program this week know, we have given our producer the week off because she is busy planning a 4-hour long nationwide live stream. And so Xander and I are the kids at home without mom or dad, just playing with the live stream here. So Xander might be able to get the lineup posted on the screen. But we have a remarkable group of people speaking at this event. And one of the things I'll urge folks, again, go to the website, sign up. If you want to find all the links for how you can watch it, because you want to share that with friends, we have a how-to guide, a how-to join the rebuttal to the State of the Union. You can find that at defiance.news. Defiance.news. I'll say it a third time. Defiance.news. If you type that in, the very first article you're going to see on the landing page is everything you need to know about the rebuttal to the State of the Union. How to watch it on YouTube, how to watch it on Substack, how to watch it on X, how to sign up for tickets if you want a ticket package with special virtual benefits like free merch and recognition on stage and a custom video from one of the speakers thanking you that you can post on social media, all kinds of cool things. 100% of the proceeds from that go to helping us pay for this event, a very big, very expensive event, and helping to pay for the counter-Trump activations that we have planned. Very excited about that. But also, Xander, I will say, I don't know if you got that. I don't know if you got that lineup. Yeah, you got that. You're on mute. No. It's just our screen 1,000 times.
How about this?
No.
Nothing? No.
No, that doesn't work. It's the wrong screen.
How about this? Anything?
Nuh-uh.
No,
it's just our screen 1,000 times.
All right, let me get us out of this nightmare. Sorry. It was on my screen. It's on your screen. I don't know what to tell you.
I love it when, anyone who's like, they're probably not telling the truth about their producer. This is a running gag, right? No, we're without a producer. Can't you tell? But, it's an amazing lineup. You can check it out if you go to the web address. But I will say also, Xander, to your point, this will be a night of action. We've got a lot of things we're going to announcing. One, you heard us reference something special is going to happen with a Jeffrey Epstein, Donald J. Trump Memorial Reading Room. But we will also have some very serious announcements, some very big announcements about how not just our organization, defiance.org, but other partner organizations around the country are coming together to actively defy some of the worst things that this administration has planned for 2026. And we're not sitting around. We've been talking to folks the past couple of weeks. What do we need to put in place this year to fight back hard? Not just on cable news programs, not just sending out articles, real shit on the ground to confront the abuses of power, to confront the law breaking. And I'll say for the millionth time, this is not about disagreeing with Donald Trump and what kind of Republican he is or isn't, or policy disagreements. We are well beyond that. That's why you got a libertarian conservative sitting here with a socialist, is because this is about a man is flagrantly violating your Constitution. When they go arrest Don Lemon for reporting on an event, they're arresting you. They're arresting you. They are doing damage to your First Amendment right. And it might be you next if you don't stand up as well. And so we are working to do real things to unite across the political spectrum to defend our Constitution. That is, as I keep saying, the manifesto of the political opposition in this country today is a really radical document called the United States Constitution. And that's what this event's about. So, Xander, we started this organization with one question. What can I do? People keep asking it. We answer that question every single week at defiance.org. We announce a new activation every Wednesday to combat Trump's abuses of power. We fund it or we spin it up. We send our members out there into the world to take it into reality. We do real things. And this event will be no different. We are going to be answering the question, what can I do, especially as we go into the second year of this Trump presidency?
Yeah, in the second year, Miles, I don't know about you, but I feel, and maybe this is just like us finding our rhythm here. I feel so oriented towards the fights that we're going to be entering in the next, call it 12 months. The too big to rig need, right? Whether it's building rebuilding a coalition that oppose Trump, or also finding new allies. I just talked about the Maha moms who feel totally screwed over as Trump accelerated scaled the distribution of the Roundup chemical. That's a coalition that I think we need to organize into our efforts and whatnot. And so the too big to rig focus, very clear. The protect the election focus, very clear. The piercing the veil of immunity, whether it's, FAFO and that group that we help get off the ground, or other efforts, making sure these folks are held accountable. The lawsuits that we see taken in the wins we're seeing at the Supreme Court level. Our friend Neil Katyal just delivered that huge win on tariffs the other week. So I think it's starting to come into focus exactly what's needed in this fight. And I gotta say, you and I have the luck of knowing so many leaders from across the country and their work. We have the people in place to win this fight. Like they need us, I'm saying us as everyday people, to throw down with them in the ways that, the Defiance community is doing. They need all the help they can get, but we have the leaders, we have the strategies. We're starting to have culture on our side once again, which just feels great. It does feel like, Miles, you and I talked about the other day, we've hit some sort of inflection moment where we went from we're too scared to stand up to we're standing up to, to kind of to the point the frogs are making. It's kind of fun to stand up, and maybe you get rewarded in your career for standing up or whatnot. There's some inflection point that just happened culturally that I think is the beginning of the dam breaking in terms of building that too big to rig coalition. So I'm feeling oriented in a way that I didn't in 2025, if that makes sense. I don't know if you're feeling the same.
Yeah. Wait,
like
why did they stop clapping?
There we go. Straight to the 80s if Mercedes isn't here. Hey, I text you, by the way, if you're better at sharing your screen than I am. I text you that graphic, the speakers line up. Oh no.
I saw it.
Right.
Yeah, it's very well put. I can't say it better than you, my friend, on that front. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for people tomorrow to get a little bit of joy out of this and a whole lot of motivation, because we're all going to be together in just about a month. March 28th, y'all are going to be out there at the No Kings protests. We're going to be out there at the No Kings protests. And we want you all to be oriented not towards getting yourself there, but after tomorrow night, you should feel like, you know what? It's my job to get 10 other people there. All right, if you can't do that, get 2. But set a big goal. Get other people out. That's how I got pulled. I wasn't at the first protest. I was at the second protest. I got pulled into it. If you weren't at the second protest, be at the third protest. No Kings 3 is going to be a big deal. We're going to be talking about that and so many more things tomorrow night. We are very, very excited about this event. We think it's important. And I'll tell you, Xander, I was just talking to someone from Politico earlier about our event, and he asked the question. He said, are you all worried about shattering a norm in Washington, D.C.? And that norm is, even when you disagree with the person on the other side of the political spectrum, in this case, Donald Trump, you show up, you let them say your piece, and then you go say your piece. I thought about that for a second, and I said to him, I go, I would be worried about shattering that little teeny tiny democratic norm if Donald Trump had not been shattering the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution, which is also known as your Bill of Rights. He has been shattering those norms. He has been violating your rights. And so, you know what? I think that it's probably not appropriate for the protest in response to that to sit there on the House floor like good little boys and girls with our arms folded over our laps and in a silent protest. A silent protest is not what is going to do it. We have to be loud. We have to do something different. And I am very proud that tomorrow we will be shattering that norm. And we have now heard from dozens of members of Congress who are looking to skip that event. In fact, Xander doesn't even know this because we haven't talked in hours. We've been slammed with work, and we've all been going left to right and doing everything. Xander, we have just in the past 2 hours had tons of members of Congress reach out to us to say, hey, can we be at your event? Not can we speak on stage, not can we be in the lineup. Can we just come there and be in the audience? unprecedented. I've worked in Washington more than 20 years, since 9/11. Never seen anything like it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I think you're dead on. I think you're dead on. The norms have already been smashed in so many ways. I mean, like in some ways, honestly, Miles, and we've talked about this a few times, you would hope traditional media would do what we're having to do instead, which is, oh, this is a speech that's not grounded in truth whatsoever. We're not doing a service to our audience, having them listen to this filth that's just filled with lies. Traditional media can't move themselves outside of this listening to both sides posture, no matter how much the Trump administration shows themselves to be completely disingenuous and full of shit. And so I like that we're taking this into our own hands. We're saying, all right, look, you know, if CNN or the big news networks are going to show you this, don't worry, there's another place to go where you can hear an earnest assessment about what's going on from perspectives from around the country. I'm excited for it. I'm happy, honestly. You know, there's a lot that happens at Defiance. Miles has really been, you know, leading this thing and hammering on it and put in, you know, sleepless nights and whatnot. And it's always awesome watching you work, Miles. Like it is incredible. Like it makes sense why you're such a high achiever so early in your career. But this thing truly would not be possible without, you know, your vision and your effort. And I think it's going to be beautiful tomorrow. And I'm grateful for the work you put in to make it happen.
Well, I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate everything that you've done. And I will say that I think no State of the Union is going to be the same after this. I mean, really, I think that we have changed how that moment is treated, at least in this point in our political history. While you've got a wannabe dictator in the White House, it's not going to be business as usual. And I don't care if the Democratic leadership team says, well, we urge members of Congress to go sit on the floor in silent protest. I don't care if they do that. That's not what we're going to do. And it doesn't sound like that's what most people feel like meets the moment. So we're going to meet the moment, and we're going to do it defiantly, and we're going to do it together. So I'm excited about that. Well, look, Xander, let's give people some of their night back, but we'll remind them where they can join us tomorrow. I hope you can be with us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Maybe you're in the car on the way to work. Maybe you're just waking up. Maybe you're going to set an alarm to wake up early if you're on the West Coast because you just want to see it happen. Hopefully, we're going to have Xander over there on Capitol Hill and me posted up in the control room. Oh, yeah.
You got my first gimbal. This is my
first
journalist in the field opportunity.
That's right. Got a gimbal. You're going to get the chance to see these Constitution deliveries live. We'll talk a little bit more about our program for tomorrow night. But in the meantime, if there's one thing that you can do, let people know to boycott Trump's State of the Union and come to our party instead. Watch it virtually. There's one thing that you can do to defy Trump today. Just tell people, why don't you watch the event at defiance.org? They can sign up for free, and they can come be a part of this. And I just a little bit ago was telling folks I finished reading Robert De Niro's draft remarks for the event. They are fire. They are worth waiting for. I got goosebumps. You are going to want to stay on till the end of that event to that keynote rebuttal. You are going to want to hear what he has to say. And same thing for the mayors and the senators and congressmen. We've got some really, really powerful messages tomorrow. But more than anything, go share that with folks. Tell them to go to this and not to that. And Donald Trump is going to be pretty pissed off to find out because, as I said earlier, if you weren't on, we have more people slated to be on the floor of our rebuttal event than Donald Trump is likely to have on the House floor in front of him. That's right. My crowd is bigger than your crowd, Donald, and I want you to know that. So come join us tomorrow, folks. Let's make that virtual crowd enormous. Share that with other people. In the meantime, as always, stay loud, stay brave, and stay together. We'll see you tomorrow.